Good morning, everybody. How are you all doing today? It's now August the 16th. It is a Thursday, I believe, and I'm going to be streaming from my balcony. I don't know why. I don't enjoy the weather out here a lot more and stream for you guys out here, or make videos for you guys out here as well. And from now on, guys, my videos will also be recorded in 4K, depending on which computer I'm on. The one in my in the office there is that huge 49-inch monitor, but I've got this HP Spectre as well that's got 4K resolution. So here we are. So I hope you guys have had a very cautious day trading thus far. So we're going to go over a lot of things right now. We're going to take a look at today Bitcoin. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin long, Bitcoin shorts, take a look at EOS, EOS long, and also EOS shorts as well. So let's get into this, guys. All right, so yesterday I mentioned a lot of things, but before we get into that, let's talk about this trend line that has been established for a very long time. I don't want to spend too much time doing this morning technical analysis simply because I want to hit up the gym right away. So guys, this trend line has been established for an incredibly long time. We would agree with that, right? And this region right here is the region where there's a very strong chance for us to break down eventually. I mean, there's always the chance, guys, that we're simply gonna break right through this resistance and start a bull run. Don't get me wrong whatsoever, right? So yesterday I was mentioning that, let's go into this in more detail actually. Let's go into a 1 hour. Yeah, I think a 1 hour will be really good for this, okay? Okay, so yesterday I was mentioning that this could be several different formations, right? For example, this is most likely this. This is most likely a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 going up. Now let me explain to you guys very quickly the basics of Elliot wave when we go upwards. Okay, there's 5 impulse waves going up that ebb and flow in all charts. Now for us to consider it an impulse going upwards, we have to say that wave 2 cannot retrace more than 100% of wave 1's territory, and also wave 4 generally does not retrace into wave 1 territory by more than a wick, unless it's in a very highly leveraged market. Now, if it does retrace by more than wave 1, we'll give it the benefit of the doubt and say, hey, could it be possibly an expanding diagonal, or could it be a leading first wave diagonal? But generally, we would want it to be a very clean impulse wave going upwards like that. And then once it finishes its ABC correction, or sorry, it's 5 waves up, it tends to want to do a basic ABC correction, just like this, okay? Now let's see if we actually saw some of these criteria that would make it count as an official Elliott wave impulse going upwards, right? We see the 5 waves going up, and then we also see a very simple ABC, like that, right? Or if we go into a lower time frame, okay, let's go into a very low time frame to see if this could possibly be something else. And we say to ourselves, all right, well, definitely, this could be something else. Now we're gonna take our Fibonacci extension tool, so make sure you guys always grab your Fibonacci tool. And then you go from the bottom, okay, go from where it began, which is right there, and then go to the very top. And what we say to ourselves right now is that, all right, well, this has indeed retraced to the 0.5 Fibonacci level at the 62.55 range. Now, yesterday as well, I was mentioning that one of 2 things could possibly happen, right? We were taking the Fibonacci range here. And by the way, just so you guys know, okay, I'm going to let you guys in on a secret, okay? Don't tell anybody. Only the people that are viewing this video will know. The reason why I'm not showing my live trades right now is because I'm recording a series for you guys, right? I finished the 40 to 50K challenge many times already, actually 3 times, okay? In my previous place once, when I got here twice, so I was making 3, but I unfortunately reformatted my last laptop there. That's where everything was on, and I actually returned it because I got the HP Spectre, and this was actually just yesterday, right? But at the same time, I've also wanted to record it from scratch again to do it a lot better. So I'm in the process of recording right now the 40 to 50K challenge for you guys, where I want to show some of the bigger players out there how I day trade and how you guys can capitalize on these short-term gains as well using my specific scalping strategy. So I can't really be posting my trades on YouTube and on Twitter while making this series, so you guys are gonna just have to wait a few days or maybe about a week for it to be released, and I'll let you guys know when I do release it. Okay, so now if we look at a lower time frame, oh, by the way guys, what you can do is right click go to drawing tools and go to favorite drawing tools, okay? And then you can also go to these right here and click on the star for whichever one you guys like, and it's gonna put it into a toolbar right there. So let's just say that this right here was possibly a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming down, okay? If that was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming down, then, well, this is gonna be the ABC going upwards right here, okay? That's gonna be the ABC going upwards. That made a leading first wave diagonal, and then we also get our very final fifth wave, like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? Which makes ABC for that subwave going up, and in the grand scheme of things, this might make another ABC. You simply do not know. The way that I would want to confirm it, if that does happen, is, well, we start breaking down really heavily around there. So then what we see is the flavor of the month, right? We see the flavor of the month, but generally, I'm gonna assume that if we hold above these regions, above this specific region, we're gonna be bullish for another impulse wave going up. So between wave 1 region and the wave A region right there. So that's the bearish scenario where we do get basically an A and a B and a C coming down here like that. Ideally, we don't want that, right? Ideally, we'd want some sort of maybe like a triangle that would end up going upwards. But I do believe, guys, if we hold above this specific range right there, since we were so close to breaking it already, but we didn't quite break it, if you guys notice, wave 1 territory acts as a very strong support, and this wave territory acts as a strong support, and the wave 4 territory acts as a strong support as well. So yesterday I was mentioning that if we actually took our Fibonacci retracement region of just a wave 3 territory, one of two things could have happened. One of the two things would have been you guys accumulate between the 0.382 and the 0.618 region for a very small amount. And then the next choice was to buy above 6,400. That was where the breakout, where the volume would start to confirm it, right? That little spike in volume right there, to me, do you guys see where my mouse is directly under it? That's the spike in volume that was enough of a confirmation for me to say, okay, but bulls are very interested in breaking above that. So if you entered a long position on my advice there from 6,400 to roughly, I also mentioned that because wave 3 did precisely a 1-to-1 extension, then the wave 5 is very likely as well to do anywhere between a 1-6-1-8 extension, which would be a double top, and that would have been horrible, or to a 2-6-1-8 extension up there. So my zone for profit was actually huge like that, right? But if you actually took my advice and you entered on the breakout above 6,400, you had a potential to gain about 3.53%. Now, to a day trader, that's actually a very significant gain. It's a significant gain because day traders like to capitalize on these short-term volatility and they go for these small percentage gains. We have a very different mindset than a lot of other traders, right? Or than swing traders, and especially different than investors as well. So congratulations to everybody that actually took my advice. You guys are doing fantastic already and you were in profit. And I hope that you actually took the profit as well. So now let's say that this was not ABC. That's about to form, and this actually formed on a higher time frame as well, because I don't want to break it down entirely, right? What you guys can see very clearly is that this is pretty much an ABC as well. So here's the bullish scenario, guys. Here's the bullish scenario, all right? And then we also take a Fibonacci extension tool right here, going upwards, and then we say to ourselves, all right, well, if this was, let's just assume one of two things, okay? Now let's assume that the first case scenario, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 formed already, and then ABC formed already as well. So by deduction, if it was an impulse wave up for our now case 1, what we'll say is wave 3 territory is often the longest and never the shortest for that specific wave. So wave 3 could be longer than wave 5, but shorter than wave 1, but also shorter than longer than wave 1, but shorter than wave 5. So by that deduction, it is very possible for us to get to this specific range, okay? Right? That's very much so possible, because what we saw is that wave 3 here did a 1-to-1 extension, or sorry, a 1-6-1-8 extension. So if it was very bullish, right, we would assume that the wave 5 would be something like this, okay? Let me just show you guys on a very high time frame, actually. I don't think I can show it, can I? All right, yeah, I can show it over here. So if it was an impulse wave up, well, it's very easy to us to deduce that, okay, well, this could possibly be 1, I gotta get my thing in here, sorry, 1, okay, 2, This would be 3. That could be 4, anywhere in there, or it could even hit the 1618, right? So it's anywhere in these specific categories or zones. Let's just say it hits somewhere in the average there, and then it uses wave 1 territory as an actual resistance, or sorry, support, because it was formerly a resistance, and bam, we hit 7,800. That's very possible for the bullish. Now, let's take a look at this on the bearish side, okay? The bearish side is a lot more scary, of course, and the bearish side will create some sort of 3-wave pattern, right? So the 3-wave pattern could be something like this, where it just does an ABC. Now, it's not that great of a scenario, but we also have to look at it from both the bearish and the bullish scenario. So now let's say that this was the bearish scenario, and we say to ourselves, all right, if that was A, B, and this is C, hey, guess what, guys? We're still looking at a possible like $6,900 target for about a 1-to-1 extension of A, B to C, right? But C could also be heavily short, right? It doesn't always have to make a 1618 extension. For all we know, we could get a double top and it ends up finishing off at only 67, 6,800 ranges. But either way, we're accounting for all these possible scenarios. Now, if there was a bearish scenario, right? The bearish scenario would have been the very first one I gave you guys, where simply A, B, C is not complete. And this right here is just A, that's B, and then that's C. So how do I plan to play this, guys? I plan to play this on a breakout, okay? I plan to play this on a breakout above this specific high. Simple as that, right? Because I'm going to go for a very short-term gain. If it does break out of there, I'll assume the worst-case scenario where this is simply going to be just a very crappy wave 3 that hits a simple 1-to-1 extension only, or the A, B, and the C going upwards like that, where it's only going to hit 1-to-1 as well, or barely. So my goal today is to basically trade in that range only. If it breaks above whatever interim high that was, I don't remember it, like 66 something, right? 66.50 or so. So if it breaks above 66.50 with a lot of volume, I'll basically be playing it the exact same way as if I were playing it at the 6,400 range. And my target will be anywhere between 6,800 and 6,900. Or 6,800 to maybe even 7K. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so no more Elliott wave analysis. Let's go on to more different types of analysis right now. Let's do RSI analysis. Okay, guys? I'm a big fan of RSI analysis, as you guys know. It's kind of my favorite tool. So looking on the daily, let's also go price action analysis as well. This 4K monitor is like freaking ridiculously huge, guys. Okay, so I'm going to clear out this Elliott wave here. What we see, do you guys even see this, or is it like too small on 4K? Okay, we see like a very long bull wick rejecting down, right? We see this bull wick rejecting about $300, and then we see another bull wick that could be construed as basically an inverted hammer that shot up 300%. So for today, guys, honestly, the volume is pretty deplorable, okay? The volume is deplorable. We are about 10 hours into the day already, so 10 divided by 24, we're a little bit shy of 50%. So we'll say about 40% of the day that we are in right now. Do you guys think that the volume is 40% of the day, or of the day of yesterday or the day before? Not even close, right? So because of this logic, we have to assume that we are just basically maintaining the bare minimum to support at these levels, and the volume is very, very low right now. So we have to wait to see if we're going to get some sort of retracement. But I want you guys to know that the RSI and the MACD is actually looking bullishly right now, okay? So the way that we gauge RSI is we look for a series of higher highs and also higher lows. And what we see right now, based on this specific section, is that the RSI is clearly higher at that specific peak right here than it is on compared to all other places when it dropped, right? So you guys see the RSI, despite it not having the highest high for the price action, what we clearly see is that, hey, the RSI is actually trending up and gaining a lot of strength, okay? So then we see a lot of resistance here, guys. Like, honestly, this is an area of major resistance, okay? That's how you have to treat it. You see this area right there? See this area right there? See this area right there? That's resistance, right? That was support, resistance. That was support that turns to resistance. So now we're seeing if we can actually break above this RSI for the day. I'm going to be very happy if we actually break above it. So remember yesterday I was also talking about how 6,400, 6,450 was a really important daily candle close to get above. I really do believe that if we retain this type of momentum, we could get to my previous targets that I mentioned. Not only that, guys, the MACD, we are definitely gaining strength over here. There's a possible chance for a very small crossover for the next few days. I'm thinking in the next anywhere between 6 to 10 hours before the daily candle close, it's going to be a very significant factor. So we take a look at Bitcoin as well here, guys. We're definitely gaining strength on the histogram. It's starting to tick up very nicely, but for how long is the big question. And we are also gaining a lot of strength according to RSI as well, right? Awesome strength. It's definitely being supported like that. I'm a big fan of it just literally going up in almost like a channel. So let's see how long we can actually retain this type of momentum and strength for in the market. So looking on an even lower time frame as well, we're kind of bullish on every time frame, to be quite honest, guys, right? We're bullish on every time frame because of the RSI, because of the histogram, because of all the supports that we're finding. It's just the daily volume that's getting to me a little bit right now. So let's take a look at moving averages as well now. I'm going to keep this video fairly short. We're about 15 minutes in already. So if we take a look at the moving average here, guys, we're still bearish according to all moving averages on a higher time frame, right? We're trending below, right? Well below the 55 average. We actually had a death cross, if you guys remember. Here's a death cross right there, where the 200 moving average ends up resisting all of the other moving averages. Whenever it crosses the 55 moving average, where the 55 gets below and the 200 gets above, that is called a death cross. And with the death cross, we tried to get back into a very positive territory, into a bullish territory above the 200 moving average, where the yellow would have then been on top of the white line, so that the 200 moving average would have been as a support for the 55 moving average, but we failed to retain those levels. So now logically, the next step, guys, is we can't even think about the 200 moving average. Well, it's kind of chilly out here. Whew. We can't even get to the 200 moving average, so don't even think about that right now. It's 7,700. The next resistance is definitely going to be the 55 moving average. It has always acted as a resistance thus far. So that coincides exactly between my 68 and 69.50 and 7K range as well for my target. So guys, we're still bearish according to the moving averages on the 12-hour chart, the daily chart, the 10-hour chart. Let's just keep going down. Let's see the 4-hour chart. Wow, okay. So the 4-hour chart, we're just trying to break above it. Here we go. So we are now bullish basically up to a 3-hour chart. Think of bullishness for moving averages as it starts on a low time frame and we see how high of a time frame it can actually get up to. So we're bullish on a 3-hour time frame. Can we become bullish on a 4-hour time frame and actually support above the 55 EMA? So notice right here, this long wick, guys, that just happened yesterday, right? It ended up spiking up about 200 bucks. Tried to spike above the 55 moving average, and what happened? It simply got shot down. And because it got shot down right here, it punctured the 55 moving average and bam, just came right back down. So now we see that Bitcoin's actually trying to make moves already, right? We see that it's trying to make moves to break above this 55 moving average. So guys, if we actually look at here, okay, we could have even considered this a major bull trap region. So now I'm going to give you guys some positive news, okay? Let's just say that right there, okay, was the resistance, which it is, right? This line right there, see the resistance right now. So what we're going to say to ourselves is it possible that this is making an ascending triangle to break above it? So I might even be tempted to go long if we get sufficient volume and we break above the 6,400 range. But the reason why I'm not too tempted is because, well, we got many bull trap regions already, right? This whole region here, guys, is a bull trap. From what we've seen so far. Anytime we get to these regions, we get shot down. So what I might do is add, hey, maybe 20% of my position if we break above this resistance right here at first, around 66.75. I might, keep in mind, I might, because I'm also going to be mindful of the fact that it could be a very large bull trap. So if it is a bull trap, I don't want to go in 100%. What I'd rather do is try to to buy into strength 10 to 20% of my position size. And then if that actually works out, great. I'll add more to my position if we break above the 60, like whatever this high is, 6650 range, right? But hey, if I'm already buying into strength, that means that there's a chance for us to break out. And then if I find during the level 2 action, if I'm watching the level 2 order books, and I find that the momentum will slowly shift again to a bull trap region, then I would just end up closing my position and breaking even. So that's kind of how I plan to tackle it throughout the day. So it was pretty cool, right, guys? Where this pretty much nailed it dead on. Like, take a look. You know, like 10, 11, 12 o'clock yesterday, that was so obvious it was going to bounce off of there simply because of this trend line right now. So we look on even a low time frame and we say, okay, well, Bitcoin is definitely trying to make moves right now. But I don't think we're going to break this quite yet. I think we'll probably end up falling back down to the 6350 range, and then we'll see what happens from there. I'll actually give you guys an update on EOS another time because I want to keep this strictly Bitcoin oriented for this video. All right, so we take a look at the Bitcoin longs versus the Bitcoin shorts now, okay? This table that I'm looking at is the Bitcoin shorts. We've got about 25,000 Bitcoin or 26,000 Bitcoin that's in a long position and it's gaining strength. But we do see as well that the short positions are starting to slowly get liquidated, guys. Look at this right here, okay? Yesterday there was 36,000 and now there's about 3,000 less. And it looks like it's got the momentum to actually shift down. So I do believe that the bulls are squeezing the shorts right now. What a squeeze refers to is basically when one side, okay, let's say one side goes long in your margin and the other side goes short in the margin. And because there's simultaneously two different sides fighting, the bulls and the bears, one will get squeezed. So let's say the bulls are squeezing the bears. What that means is they're trying to liquidate all of the bears to try to get them to close their position so that they have to buy. So remember that when you close your position for a bear position going short, the way you close it is you go long by buying, right? So now the bulls would love it if the bears got liquidated because when they close their short position, they will buy and add more strength to the bull rally that could possibly happen. So anyways, those are my two thoughts, guys, or my 2 cents rather. I do believe that we are going to get some sort of small bull run, but keep in mind, like I've said, guys, that there's a lot of fundamental changes in Bitcoin right now, and this is the year for regulation. I don't think that we're going to get any type of astronomical high this year. My bias has obviously shifted, and you guys need to understand that, guys, things are allowed to change in the market, okay? Remember that. Just because we say one thing doesn't mean that something else can't happen. So those are kind of my 2 thoughts. If we break down outside of this symmetric or this triangle going upwards, guys, that's where I'll be more bearish and I would look for, first of all, support around 6,200, and then we'll have to see what we can do from there on. So keep you guys updated throughout the day like I always do. Thank you very much for always watching my videos. I would really appreciate it if you guys liked, share, and subscribe, and follow me on both YouTube and on Twitter. So thank you very much. Make sure to give me a thumbs up if you guys enjoy the work that I'm doing. And I love you, baby whales. I'll see you another time. Take care now. Bye.